Welcome back, everybody. This is Richard Worley from TrainFightWin.com. Welcome to our introduction for our MMA Striking series that will be available at our store soon, both in downloadable and DVD format. Alright guys, welcome back. We're going to start working on striking. And the first thing we want to cover is our basic stance. There's a couple variations to this. I'm going to be working from a traditional stance. If you're left-handed, you'll be working from a southpaw stance. You have a couple different variations there. However, we're going to go into a basic stance. Now, in boxing, they stand almost completely sideways with a really high-handed stance. Really high-handed and almost completely sideways. In MMA, or even in a Muay Thai fight, an international rules kickboxing bout, this is a bad stance because your leg is going to get torn up. You can't block from kicks to the outside. You're going to have a bad day. So what we do is we open our shoulders and our hips up a little bit. I want to open up, and I want to keep, in a traditional Thai fight, you'll see a lot of the Thai fighters with their feet pointed straight forward and their hands out like this. And this is a very traditional Thai stance. In MMA, again, this has some limitations to it because of your lateral movement to avoid when somebody shoots in for a double leg or a single leg. You have some limitations here. Not horrible, it's better than the boxing stance for MMA. However, it still has some limitations. So we're going to kind of mix the two. And what we do is we're going to take that traditional Thai stance, we're going to open it up a little bit. So that this foot is pointed almost at 90 degrees, more of like a 45-degree angle away from my front foot. Okay, so my front foot's here. If my front foot's like this foot's going to be kind of pointed at a 45-degree angle. That gives me lateral motion steps, and it gives me forward and backward. That helps avoid the shoot, that helps avoid, with my striking, and my stance is opened up enough to where my hips, I'm open enough to where I can catch on a leg kick, a Thai kick, I can catch on a high kick. I have a couple different options. So, what I want to do is get my feet are slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Okay? Slightly wider, and I want to turn my hips away from him. So if my opponent were directly in front of me, and you drew a straight line in between us, that would be 90 degrees. I want to open up another 45-degree angle. Okay? So instead of standing completely squared with our opponent, we're going to take a 45-degree angle back. Completely squared to here would be 90 degrees. It's more like a boxing stance. Completely squared to here is going to be a lot closer to what we're really wanting. And again, we've opened up our stance. We've got good footwork here. Now, our feet slightly wider than shoulder width. We're going to sit down in our stance a little bit. Got to bend our knees. If we get caught here and you get a leg kick, you can do some serious knee damage. So we're going to sit down in our stance a little bit. That gives us a little bit more momentum, a little bit more power so that we can add to our agility. And our hands are going to come out and in front of us. My right hand, the very tip of my knuckles should be able to touch my eyebrow and then come just directly out. I don't want to keep my hands sideways. I want to kind of open them up, especially in an MMA bout when you're wearing MMA gloves instead of 16-ounce gloves. You'll have your hands open a little bit so that you can grapple as well. So our stance, we're sitting down a little bit, right hand right here, and out in front of us, left hand slightly higher and a little bit further out. So from here, now we're in a good stance. We can move in, we can move out. We want to be careful not to ever move in straight lines forward or backwards, but we have a lot of options to cut out angles here. Now we're going to talk about some of our steps.